Hi, everyone. My name's Hal Halliday from Breakthrough Leadership. This is my first video on LinkedIn, so it's a new experience for me. But given the current circumstances of being challenged at home, I thought I'd give this a try, and I hope you'll appreciate it and enjoy it, and it'll be of some use to you. We're all dealing with the current situation, and now after a few weeks, I think we've learned some things. A few weeks ago, I wrote an ebook to help leaders navigate how to lead remote teams. We all were thrown into a situation, most of us not by choice, to work from home, and it was an immediate challenge to leaders and companies. And I thought an ebook might be helpful. It's a free ebook, 6 chapters, about 30 pages, that is filled with tips and strategies to help you navigate this current situation as a leader. I also thought it might be helpful if I took those 6 chapters and put them into 5 short segments that I could share each day. I will this week. So this is day 1, and I just thought I would tell you kind of how it will go the rest of the week. Day 1, we're going to talk about the new normal and how you should never waste a crisis. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Day 2 is why your leadership really matters in this moment. Day 3 is how you can create stability both physically and psychologically for your teams, which is super critical in building trust and are really useful tools in any situation. Day 4 is how to meet people where they are and really connect with them. And day 5 is how you can amplify your connection and your communication with your teams, so you can clarify and align for them so they know exactly what they're doing and you can get the most productivity for them. These will all be filled with ideas and strategies and things you can do, not just things you can learn, but actually things that you can do. So I really hope that it'll be useful for you. So today we're going to talk about the new normal, and really this idea, a very clever saying, to never waste a crisis. We absolutely are in a moment where we need leadership, and we can be fearful and run from that, or we can lean into it, learn and grow, and become better. And I think that's the opportunity for everyone. There's an opportunity for us all to adapt. I mean, you have your own situation as a leader. To be able to help people, you also have to be stable and dealing with the challenges. And today we're going to talk a lot about self-leadership. This is an environment that's unknown. It has created fear. Normalcy has gone out the door. And I think amidst it all, what's important for you as a leader to remember anytime you're communicating with someone is that no one made this choice. No one decided to go home to a house full of kids that needed homeschooling, or aging parents that are at risk in a retirement center. We didn't choose these conditions, and often that is the case in a crisis, always actually. So being sensitive to that is super critical. These are massive changes that no one has ever lived through. These conditions we're in are unique. It's global. The whole world is experiencing this. So your expectation of yourself shouldn't be that you know what to do or how to do. This is a new experience. We're all beginners. We're all learners. And I think being settled with yourself with that, knowing that you're a learner, that there could be some bumps along the way, and that this is really an opportunity to grow and learn and to rely on your strengths is important for you to remember. So don't hesitate. No one really knows what to do. Don't be discouraged if there's bumps along the way. We're all learning. And I think we can all learn together. And so as we talk about these things, I hope you'll share your best tips and ideas and things that are working for you in the comments today. So never waste a crisis. There's a little exercise, I think, that you can do to be helpful to you as you think about what is occurring. And I think this is critical, and I wanted to start with this. What does this situation make possible for you? What are some of the possible positive outcomes that can come from this experience? And if you self-reflect on that, I think there's some opportunities for growth, and also to really be comfortable when you see what some of the opportunities are. So for example, how can the current conditions galvanize your team as they help and support one another? Does this crisis, we often rise to our best in times of challenge and adversity. So how could your team benefit from this? How will your team grow and come together, galvanize, become closer, build trust as they help each other through these conditions? I think that's an opportunity. What does this situation make possible for you and this team? What could be accomplished in these current conditions that may not occur if we were just status quo? Reflect on that. Discuss that with your team. And lastly, what are you most grateful for in these conditions? I think that discussion with yourself and with your team would be super valuable. So these 3 questions could really help your team sort of get settled in and see how they can take advantage of this crisis and grow from it and be better, even in the conditions that we are in, where it's difficult and frustrating and sometimes really hard on us, right? But have that discussion. I think that's something that could be very useful. Every day really is a leadership moment for you in these conditions. Don't waste that opportunity. Change, fear, and uncertainty are abounding in yourself and probably others. So leadership really can rule the day. Your team's in the middle of it. They didn't make this decision. They didn't choose this. So help them see where the opportunities are for them and for you. Because really today and in this moment, leadership it will be the thing that makes the difference. You need to lead yourself. The old saying of put your oxygen mask on first is relevant here. You need to create for yourself the conditions of success. That means in your own home office, in your own environment, you need to be stable in your self-leadership in terms of the physical place for you to get your work done. That will matter for your team because you will be more successful in those conditions. I'd suggest you have a morning routine, that you get out of bed, get a shower, bath, you exercise, meditate, whatever your routine was before these conditions, continue it. You had to get to work by a certain time. You knew what traffic could be. All those things, that routine can help make this seem more normal and less of a change. Keep a schedule. Try and prioritize the day just like you would in the office. But it takes more discipline when you're at home. There are so many more distractions at home. And so this is critical that you create a schedule, review it in the morning, review it at the end of the day so that you are accomplishing the things that are in front of you. Plan some breaks for yourself, morning and afternoon, and lunch. Take advantage to get away from the computer screen. It is fatiguing to be in one place all day long without a whole bunch of interaction. And in your case, maybe if they've got a home that's got a lot of chaos in it and more people, you just need some space maybe to yourself. So that could be a walk with social distancing. It could just be, again, a moment of meditation and self-reflection. And then lastly, really communicate your schedule for when you're available and not available. So that helps keep the peace at home. So the people that are sharing your home with you and have their own challenges and expectations know when you're available and when you can not be available if you have something critical you have to do. We know remote working really works. In fact, I read some data today that the people are actually working more, possibly because they're not commuting, but up to 3 hours more a day, people are working. So, and I don't know if that's good or bad. I think it just must be in part because people don't have any other things to do when they're at home. But the truth is remote working and remote workers are super productive, and you can be too, and your team can be. There's great companies like Envision and Zapier and GitLab that have all created companies that are 100% remote workers. So we know it works, it can be successful, but it's new, so we have to figure that out. Also, as a leader, it's important that you understand the public health guidelines, what the government's asking us to do, as well as what your company's asking you and your team to do to stay safe and to help flatten the curve. So be aware of that. Also, be aware of all of the healthcare, mental and physical healthcare benefits that your company has for your team. You may not have come across this in the past, but most companies have resources available, especially for mental health, and they're free. You should know that. Be mindful of your team, and where appropriate, make sure your team members know about those resources that can really help them. Lastly, set your mindset. Your mindset is so important in this environment. You really bring the weather to your team. So how you are experiencing this pandemic is how they will experience it by your leadership. So your influence can be dramatic and substantial for them. Your calm, your courage in the face of this, your willingness to thrive instead of just survive will make an impact on them and perhaps their family and friends and community. So be the leader that they need at this time. It's so important that your mindset, that you get yourself with the oxygen mask, stable, safe, psychologically comfortable, while all acknowledging that the new normal is difficult and there are challenges. But your courage to go forward in the face of it is really, really the critical point as being a leader. And I know that you can do that. Lastly, a quote by Marcus Aurelius: "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." So you have it in you to be a great leader through these conditions. And this experience will be valuable. So never waste a crisis. This is an opportunity for you to grow and learn. And I hope this has been helpful to you to do that. And I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. You'll want to come back and learn more.